I see her out all the time. See her out all the time. Yeah.
Joe and I moved upstairs. Joe and I just moved upstairs, yes, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we took overnight.
We can do that.
Darby staying open, yeah. And we go Walden too, but that doesn't do much. So, between Darby and Lisbon.
But it's sold a couple months. You can try to sell it. 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's when it's up.
It might have sold.
Yeah, that's why we're still running out. Just because like somewhere to go, because it's still worth something.
Yeah.
We got more than we had.
The virus,
3 days,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real fast. So, figured if we had somewhere to go, we didn't have to buy something. You guys have Key West?
Thinking about it right now.
We usually go like right around there.
Actually, just hit block there.
Yeah.
Contemplating right now.
Oh, nice.
Who we know? Oh, we know. Yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
That was April. I looked that up. April's my first.
Was that?
Well, we were there for 4 years, so you were there.
Yeah, that was the first time we went like that. We usually
Yeah.
go this time.
Yeah, I stopped there South Florida. You guys did. These guys didn't get there that Thursday.
He was really good that year.
Couldn't tell them.
And then he died, like right that year. It blew my mind because I knew he was good. It was good. At least we got that time. I know.
Yeah.
What?
I would put that in a trauma. That's a different thing.
I have to say, it's a little hot. Give me a lot of that. And I'm not that
Yeah, she went back. I'm like, oh, sorry, where's the hospital? Why didn't you use your family? We need 2 in. All I heard was for a solid month. There was still space. That was the first thing I said. I felt all right.
so much.
And
yes, it was I'll tell the kids it's so good thing. Love peas. She's so beautiful. And they're sparkling. Hi. Yeah.
Your birthday. Don't worry, Ben, I'm 17. No.
I think he asked me earlier what they, how much we
Princesses are here.
Yeah, I think it's like. Your mom here, John?
I'm serious.
You sure?
Nice to see you.
Who's who?
Identify as hunters. No, she hasn't.
I have the suburbs.
See, where's your horse?
Yeah.
That was appropriate. That was good. That was Have to work?
Well, because.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hot spring going. Are they drinking already? Hot spring going. Drinking already? Going on for tomorrow? You might stop down. I might go to Key West. Where are you going? How far is it? Okay, you're going, leave. I'll work.
It takes back. I know that, that's why.
What? What?
Trail and driving for 2 years. That's a place to put it.
I can't have now.
Oh, I mean, that's okay.
I get that.
Our train was shut down.
Well, you're late.
You're late.
So we're there for 2 weeks.
Ah, ah.
Thank you.
Tell Michael and Carolyn to come to the timeout room when they're done. Tell Michael and Karen to come to the timeout room when they're done.
I do, of course. I gotta leave you alone. It took a little bit. My sisters go right for the front.
And she was like, she made sure it was real quiet for her. Yeah, right?
I guess my 50 seconds. I don't know how to do that.
I think you were pretty good.
I said, you should look familiar right now, like, from Rhode or wherever. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for coming. Hi. Hi, honey. Hi. My sister.
I'm okay, right?
Oh, I know. Right here. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, this lady has to take this bus.
This is my brother Sean.
I'm glad about that. Thank you. And her beautiful boy, oh my God, he is so
We're gonna set up. Okay. Yeah. I just want to let.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember
I hear
Oh my God, you got, oh my God.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Matt, I think there's a party at the funeral.
We go in and
Maddie's looking for a carnivore for the night. Smash two of my.
I think they were saying. Lay it up. Right.
Is your aunt coming up here? No, she's gonna stay. I stay. I didn't see her. I get it.
Trust, I mean.
Yeah, it has. Rain, swings. It happens.
Yeah.
If everyone wants to find a seat or somewhere to stand, there's TVs in the side rooms. We're going to get ready to begin the services. And before we begin, I also ask that everyone make sure your cell phones are on silent, please. Friends, so we're going to start with his friend John. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. What can you say about Jordan? He's Jordan. The statement is fairly comprehensive for those who know him. But there's a side to Jordan many do not know. He was a true ladies' man. No, no, seriously, all of my ex-girlfriends, if given the choice, stayed to prep Jordan over me. Hearing this, he would quip, "If she breathes, she's a thought." With Jordan, you always knew where you stood. If he liked you, you were allowed the privilege of his friendship. If he disliked you, it was made abundantly clear you were his enemy and not fit to breathe the same air as him. I'm proud to say I fell into the former category rather than the latter. I'd known Jordan since 7th grade. During this time, we were more casual acquaintances. It was not until sophomore year of high school where our tale of friendship truly begins. To set the scene, the year is 2009. The United States was in a recession, which is weirdly topical. Dank memes were relegated to the seedy underbelly of the internet. Mark is not yet dating Aaron. Kyle has diabetes. Sorry, Kyle. Sam Bailey is Sam Bailey. I still look like a prepubescent teenage girl. And Jordan is roaming free like a wild stallion. And I sat near one another in French class, where we occasionally discussed such sundry topics as video games, food, verb conjugation, and how much we disliked other people. Being two misanthropic lads, it only felt appropriate to join forces. One girl in our class was particularly mean towards Jordan. Jordan did an amazing impression of her and pulled in her direction by saying, "My name's Agina, shut up." In our class drew Jordan's ire so much that he made a rather crude but effective drawing of him getting bummed by a horse. When the teacher asked to see it at the end of class, Jordan absconded with the evidence by tearing it up and running away. Out of respect for our budding friendship, I also took the fifth and followed quickly behind. At lunch one day, Jordan evicted the dubious lunch meats from his hoagie roll and replaced them with mashed potatoes. And that defining moment, I knew I had to take our friendship to the next level. This guy had big brain ideas, and I wanted to get in on the ground floor. Also, as a consummate potato man myself, I found the word spirit in Jordan. So began a lengthy courtship. I made the occasional overture to ask Jordan to hang out, but he was cautious. I was all, "Notice me, senpai, woo." Kids were not exactly kind to Jordan back then, so he kept people at arm's length. Jordan actually used to make fun of me for sounding monotone by saying "serious business" in a comedically stentorian manner. I came to realize it was a term of endearment. So did senpai notice me? Woo to be continued. Now, during junior year, Jordan was in the same American Experience class, and we sat near one another again. If there's any truth to the saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder, it applies here. Jordan did not forget about me, nor I him. We picked up exactly where we left off, deflecting insults, firing them back with even greater contempt, and discussing the same old, same old. I once again tried floating the idea of hanging out, to which Jordan was more receptive. In those days, hangouts were an event. I used to make Facebook events, send out invites, and title them Brofests. It was the pre-2010s, which was an especially cringy time, so please forgive us. The original Brofest crew consisted of Jordan, Kyle, Sam Bailey, and myself. The exact details of the first Brofest are a bit fuzzy, but I'm sure we hung out at my mom's house, played video games, and argued over which pizza toppings. There were many Brofests during high school and beyond, but they eventually became regular hangouts. As they increased in frequency, the new members were added, and some of us acquired girlfriends. By senior year, Jordan and I were firm friends and even exchanged phone numbers. One standout memory during senior year is the 3DS midnight launch. Despite an absolutely barren launch lineup, we were excited. We were the first two in line, even though the weather was miserable. In between lunch and the return to class, we used to play Street Fighter 4 in the hallway. Jordan always kicked my ass, but it was still fun. As our lives as Ridley High School students came to a close, there was a lingering but unspoken fear of us drifting apart. Closer to graduation, Jordan was borrowing a video game from me. I messaged him and asked, "So, are you going to be done with Phoenix Wright 3 before we graduate? Otherwise, it may be lost forever." I was not so much worried about losing a video game as losing a friend. Jordan simply replied, "Sure." This was all the assurance I needed. That summer, we spent many a late night playing Resident Evil Mercenaries 3D online. Since voice chat was non-existent on the 3DS, we developed a shorthand communication system to alert the other whenever in deep shit. Jordan and I both attended Delaware County Community College on and off around the same time. At one point, we were in the same Western Civ class. The class was piss easy, so we sat in the back of the room playing 3DS the entire time. The professor took attendance by sign-in sheet, so in case either of us missed class, it was an unspoken rule to hook a brother up. We spent many hours together doing homework and studying in the library. Even if we did not speak, there was something comforting about having a friend there. I still have an email from Jordan which contains an attachment for an assignment we collaborated on, and the following message: "I'm 20 times better at Mario Kart than you." This is both factually correct. During the summer of 2013, I helped dog sit with my then girlfriend at the time, Allie. We were staying in the bucolic Glassboro, New Jersey, and invited Jordan to some swimmies, video games, and whatever debauchery a few 20, 21-year-olds can get up to. One evening during their stay, we went to a small Asian restaurant nearby called Tomo Sushi, which instantly became our favorite restaurant. The look of delight on Jordan's face while he dug in his chicken, wholesome for words. Afterwards, we picked up a few bottles of sake and turning Pokemon Stadium 2 minigames into drinking games. The rules were: lose a minigame, you drink and forfeit the controller to the next person. You win, you do not drink, continue playing. Now, folks, let me tell you something. If Jordan shows up with his own N64 controller, you better pray to whatever deity you believe in, clench your cheeks, and hold on to your controller for dear life, because it's going to be rough. Just ask Kyle. He probably breaks out into a cold sweat just thinking about playing against Jordan in the Banjo-Kazooie quiz game. Playing against Jordan, I truly have never been so drunk in my entire life, with the exception of my 21st birthday later that year. Now, on my 21st birthday, Jordan was apparently my handler. I kept disappearing into my bedroom throughout the night to change my shirt for some inexplicable reason. At one point, I was at my computer and Jordan stepped in and asked, "What are you doing?" I replied, "Ordering several $100s of video games from Amazon." He said, "John, please don't do that," and gently ushered me into the living room to rejoin the party. Now, there was no better way to cap off the year than with New Year's Eve celebrations. I actually found an old post on Jordan's Facebook about New Year's, dated December 31st, 2009. It says, "If you're staying home and doing nothing on New Year's Eve, say I." It broke my heart to read this even years later, but fortunately, Jordan became the center of every major gathering, and his presence was always sorely missed whenever unable to attend. He possessed the uncanny ability to cause everyone within earshot to nearly asphyxiate with laughter via a single one-liner. Jordan was also known to get, as the kids say, lit, and yell so loud of a house. Ask Mark and Aaron. At Mark and Aaron's wedding, Jordan imbibed a number of spirits and got sick. Even as I tucked him into bed, he apologized profusely. Jordan was someone I would do anything for. One of the last times Jordan felt truly well and able was this past September. We went to the H Mart in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, where he purchased what must have amounted to an entire pallet of instant ramen. New Jersey no longer supplies plastic bags in stores, however, so Jordan had to purchase about 10 reusable bags to carry his haul. Afterwards, we went to Tomo Sushi for lunch. The food was the same as we both remembered all those years before. Jordan's face was beaming with the same delight as the first time we ate there. If only for a brief while, we were transported back to carefree halcyon days. Now, it's hard to say what I believe, but what I would like to believe is that Jordan was returned to the universe, where he learns the answers to life's greatest mysteries, such as what's a woman, and what's heavier, a kilogram of steel or a kilogram of feathers? We may never know. At this very moment, he's peering out from beyond the veil, going, "Tee-hee." I'll miss you forevermore, big man. P.S. Serious business. All right, Mark, you're up.
Well, that's a tough act to follow. Today we are here to celebrate the life of a truly exceptional person. His name was Jordan Dougherty, a very dear friend of mine, dear to us all. I have known Jordan as a friend for 10 years and in school for even longer. As long as I have known him, he has been a kind, compassionate, strong, and brave man. Always there for you when you needed him, and always fun to hang out with. We had such wonderful, lifelong memories with him, such as going to the beach, to the mountains, and so many others, as John just described. The jokes he would tell, you would just be rolling around laughing and crying. His sharp, quick wit and his timing was stunning. No one was safe from his jokes. He was the life of the party and always a pleasure to be around. Always there when you needed to talk and always put others before himself. He was a very selfless man and cared about his family and friends. He lived on his terms and was true to himself always, no matter what. Never complaining and never, just feeling like a victim or anything. He just kept going on. I have nothing but admiration, respect, and love for my friend. Jordan will always be my friend, and that will never change. May he rest in peace. This is not goodbye. Just see you later. Thank you.
I'm very short, so let me write this down. Mine's on my phone. I didn't type it out. 10 years ago, I met Jordan at a gig for my husband Mark and our friend Kyle's band, Smoke. My first impression was that he was a quiet, easygoing guy. I didn't know him. I had heard his name passed around here and there. In a few months, my boyfriend, now husband, and I were together. But not much more than that. He was my boyfriend's friend, Jordan. That same night, Kyle walked up to the mic during our last song and announced, "Are you guys ready?" To which Jordan and I replied, unplanned, yet in unison, "I was born ready." Little did we know how true that statement would be. Jordan and I had many instances of simultaneously shouting out phrases. In the following years, we very quickly realized we had many of the same interests: video games, YouTube channels, cooking, memes, the list goes on. Recently, I mentioned offhandedly that my personal favorite video game was, quote, the best game ever made. It is. To which Jordan replied, "No, it's not, because it's not Donkey Kong Country 2. Jordan easily became one of my best friends and a bit of a local legend amongst my coworkers and my girlfriends. Many of them, of course, never met him, but they knew it was going to be a good story if I began with my friend Jordan. He and I enjoyed talking about recipes and food together. Nothing ever too adventurous for him, unless, of course, it was spicy. I loved being able to talk to him about weird ingredients in the process of putting together a challenging dish. Every time I made something to bring to dinner with friends, I could see the gears turning in his head. He wanted to know the whole process. And as I gave him a rundown, excuse me, I knew exactly that he knew what I was talking about. And he knew how to make us laugh like nobody else. He was effortlessly funny. Delivery always spot on. His ability to crack a joke was unmatched. There's a very vivid memory I have of Jordan late one night at one of our many hangout sessions, picking John's glasses up off the table, putting them on, and doing one of the simplest yet uncanny impressions of John I have ever seen in my life. For the sake of John's dignity, or what he has left, I won't go into further detail, but suffice to say, none of us were safe from Jordan. He once famously told Kyle, a diabetic, "I'm sorry, man, it just sucks to be you," after having tried the keto diet for a very brief period of time. My husband once jokingly asked Jordan after yet another hilarious impression of him, "Have you made fun of all of us yet?" To which Jordan looked at me and said, "Aaron's wearing black again." A few years ago, I saw Jordan laugh harder than I had seen him laugh in years. He dropped a Mike and Ike on the floor and it had rolled underneath John's couch. He went to pick it up, reaching under the couch and feeling around, and came back with, "You guessed it, a Skittle." Jordan rolled over on the floor, tears streaming down his face, laughing so hard that he wasn't even making noise. We all laughed with him. It was impossible not to. The fact that Jordan, arguably the funniest person we all knew, found this so unbelievably hilarious was the perfect manifestation of our friend's contagious ability to bring joy into the lives of others. And Jordan positively radiated joy. You could see his smile from the moon. It was such a pure and true smile. You knew immediately how genuine of a person he was. He never judged, belittled, or made anyone feel inferior. He let you know how special you were by being your friend. And when he got to know you, he really let you know how special you were by making fun of you at every opportunity. He brought new friends into our lives by extending his enormous heart and beautiful soul to people we would have otherwise never known. His joy was ours, and ours was his. My husband and I were honored to have him as a groomsman in our wedding in 2021. I remember clearly how outwardly pleased he was when we asked him. And as I'm sure many of you know, he had a fantastic time. This past summer, we took a day trip to Ocean City, and it was one of the last times Jordan was able to travel comfortably. At the end of the day, as we all took a break on the boardwalk, Jordan and I had a quick heart-to-heart. At the end of our conversation, he told me, "You all better give me one hell of a eulogy." It was very, very serious. To our beautiful friend, I hope this has lived up to your expectations. I know you're here today mostly because you would never miss the opportunity to be at your own memorial, listening to all of us speak and celebrate you and heal together, and rolling your eyes because you don't want anyone to make a big deal out of anything. To this, I say, tough shit, buddy. It's our turn to celebrate you because you spent your entire life celebrating us. We love you so deeply, and I hope the love we pour out to you today is even a fraction of what you so selflessly gave to us for nearly 30 years. We love you, buddy. And as my husband said, it's never goodbye, it's see you later. I'll see you later.
Good morning. Past couple of weeks have been difficult, okay? But I know that it's only as difficult as it is because Jordan brings so much enrichment to all of our lives. And so, you know, my first interaction with Jordan goes all the way back to the 7th grade. Basically, I was out a pencil that day. I didn't have a pencil, so I asked him if I could borrow a pencil. He said, "Oh, sure, here you go." So I don't know what happened, but at some point during that period, I lost his pencil. So at the end of the period, he comes up to me and says, "Hey, Kyle, can I get my pencil back?" And I said, "Well, I just want to hold on to it for the rest of the day, then I'll get it to you." So what happened was after that, so I've done two things. One is I've lost his pencil. Two is I have lied to him about it. Okay, so I'm freaking out here, man. I'm figuring out what am I going to do. So I go, all right, at the last period, I'm just going to leave class. I'm going to sneak out of the school, out of sight, out of mind. Well, I leave class and there he is right there. "Kyle, do you have my pencil?" And I figured, you know what, man? I said, this is it. This is day of reckoning for me because all I see is a kid who's much bigger than I am, you know, and I've never interacted with him before. And I go, "Jordan, I'm sorry, man. I lost your pencil, okay? I lost your pencil." He goes, "Oh, that's okay." I'm like, "Wait, really? You're not going to berate me? You're not going to?" So that was the start of a beautiful friendship right there. You know, at some of the lowest points in my life, I could always count on Jordan's humor and his wit to sort of lift my spirits. At the start of senior year of high school, me, Jordan, and a couple of our friends were sitting in the auditorium, and we were awaiting a speech by the principal. Now, the thing about me is I was always a very chubby kid, okay? So, you know, the principal makes a comment about how we all have to lift each other up. So Jordan, he looks back at me, he does one of these, he goes like this, and he just goes, "Damn." So one of our favorite activities is we would always, at our hangouts, was to play a game called Super Smash Brothers. If you don't know what that is, it's a game where you pick a character, you fight it out, and all that. Well, in one of the games, you could actually design your own levels. Okay, so we were all hanging out. I was in another room, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, Kyle, come out here real quick." I go, all right, what is this? So Jordan had been hard at work creating his own level, okay? And so I look at it, I go, what is this? So he's got it zoomed in, and as he zooms out, I realize his level, the platforms are arranged in such a way that spells out Kyle sucks. and I'm just, yeah, I did always say I was going to get him back for that one, but I just couldn't. That was too good. It was too good. So I was at work one day. Now, for those of you who don't know, well, actually, Aaron mentioned it. I'm a diabetic. Okay. So I'm at work one day. I'm doing my counts. I'm in my own little world when all of a sudden I hear, "Excuse me, sir, do you guys sell insulin here?" And I my pitch together, and I just go like, well, that would be by the pharmacy, except, and then before I could finish, it was Jordan. I don't know. I don't know why I expected anything different, but it's the next one here is going to involve our friend Mark, because this is without a doubt the funniest thing he has ever done. It sent me in a laughing frenzy that I probably several minutes. So my who's played Cards Against Humanity before? All right. Well, anyway, so I'm up with the black cards. I pick out a black card and it says, "If I was a superhero, my superpower would be," and Jordan responds with, "making fun of Mark." And that had me, that was it. That was, one of the things that really inspired me about Jordan was his ability to carry on with his life despite whatever adversity he faced. So basically, it does inspire me. It's really inspiring the way he did that. And I think in closing, I'll just say that's the lesson that Jordan's life leaves us is, don't worry about what's going on at your job, petty drama. If you have medical issues, do your best, but don't let it drag you down. And so that, in closing, I just want to thank Jordan's parents for bringing such a wonderful person into the world for all of us. Basically the lesson I take away from this is I'm going to continue to live my life despite whatever things cause me a mild inconvenience. And I guess also in the grand scheme of things, even though today is sad, I know I'm going to see him again. So I'll see you again, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah, I wrote down a script, but I'm not sure why, because it's my first time doing anything like this. So anyway, Calvin, I've known Jordan for about the past 5 or 6 years, and he was one of the best friends I ever had. And Jordan was the kind of guy who was always easy to get along with, and always made us laugh, and also he was real generous. For me, I'm sort of an unusual case because I'm here on behalf of the 30 or so people Jordan was friends with online, and I'm one of those people. And well, the first time I met Jordan was on the internet, and it was one day I just happened to stumble into a chat room full of a bunch of guys who watched a particular streamer, and this wasn't before even Twitch was a thing, so it was pretty old. And people came and went, but on that place, but some of us decided to stick around and keep in touch in some other chat rooms or servers or whatever. And for a while, and then we all became, I guess, sort of a dysfunctional family of sorts. We had our laugh, we played games, we got excited or scoffed at like the newest games or like lots of streamers, stupid in jokes nobody else would get. But we also shared our personal feelings, and and his person's thoughts and experiences, and and Jordan was at at surface, Jordan was the kind of guy who's kind of snarky, but deep down he's a genuine person, and it was when they decided to share his story about his fight against his cancer, and he's I think it was real great for him to do that. And for a lot of us, with Jordan, we knew him as 777s, which is I think a Navy, from what I recall, is a Navy picked ironically after he got his cancer diagnosis. So, I met Jordan in real life about 3 years ago, and at that point, I think I was close. I think I was like. I was close enough with friends, like people, with my online friends who actually go and meet them. And luck would have it, Jordan happened to live about 2 hours across away from me, and one day he decided to just he would come visit when I asked, and we played Shrek 2 on GameCube, and I introduced him into the joys of Japanese curry. So it was a real great time. And and after that, maybe about a year later, he decided he asked me if I wanted to come visit, hang out with him one fine. I think it was Memorial Day, and he introduced me to his friends. That's how I met Kyle and John and Mark and Aaron and all those other people. And for me it was awkward at first because I was a sort of a friend of a friend, but I'm glad they accept me as a friend, and like not just as a friend, but like a genuine friend. And I'll definitely do my best to I live pretty far, but I'll do my best to keep in touch with them. Anyway, much as I wish we could spend more time with him, sometimes Jordan was a little pity just staying alive. But even though he was suffering, he never let his pain keep him down, and he made sure that he made the most of what he had left. And and eventually, we all hoped that maybe things would turn around, maybe by some miracle. But we all wish we had more time left because it was real. It's just I had to be the one to break the news of his death, and just as much as I prepared myself for the day that will happen, it still sucked. Anyway, I wish, I wish he would have stayed around longer, and because there's still a lot of talk as well. There's a lot of things we made out, things we want to share with them, and aside for new games and all that. But I think in the end, what really matters is we were there for him when we could, whenever we could. And so, Jordan or Trip, whatever you want to call you, I just want to say thank you for everything. And I know everyone else in chat felt the same way. And we're all lucky, you picked your name because as you thought you were unlucky, but I think we're all lucky to have you, and I hope you felt the same way. I hope you feel the same way about us, and thanks. I'll see you later.
Hi, this is a little off the cuff, so forgive me if it's a little bit of a stream of consciousness here. I knew Jordan, honestly, from 6th grade. the way I met him was kind of, now that I think about it, very emblematic of our relationship. It just was always there. I was in the only class I ever shared with him, a math class, and I was moving from Crumlin to Holmes, and I just happened to mention this when we were in a group, and he was like, "Oh wait, I live there. Are you going to be riding the bus?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, sure. I'll show you around. I'll show you what's up." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." In general, I'm kind of a more introverted person, so I don't really make friends in that way. I kind of just stick to myself. Something that he's pointed out is something I should try to change. So I had, a unique experience in him becoming my friend, in the sense that he drugged me to become his friend. He would, on the bus, he would always talk to me, he would always call out to me, and we just kind of sort of formed a relationship from there. It was strange, I guess. He just really liked something about me, I guess. But when I say that our relationship was something where he's just always there, it's just, honestly, we just hung out so much that he was just a person. Like, he was just there. It's like, do you really think about where your right hand is all the time? Like, no. That's how he kind of felt. Part of me being introverted is the fact I'm also a little bit skittish. So oftentimes, if I had to stay back and miss the bus, I would feel a little awkward walking home by myself. And whenever I mentioned that to Jordan, he's like, "Sure, I'll wait for you." So oftentimes, we would just walk home together. And he had no reason to do it. Like, he was literally just doing it because it made me feel better. And that's just kind of how he was as a person. If I had to sum him up, he's just loyal to a fault. Like, throughout his entire ordeal, I literally could not tell you how he felt because he refused to tell anyone. Like, and that's the kind of strength that you just can't help but admire. I don't understand how someone could be going through all that pain and just not even want to vent about even a little bit. It's inspiring, to say the least. In general, like I said, because of all the times we spent together, hell, he was the only one that could drive, so oftentimes he would have me out too. So I just always had him near me, and honestly, it was to the point that Jordan, he's not the most, well, what's the best way to put this? So he lets you know you're special, but like, he won't tell you. So honestly, a lot of times it's like, well, I'm his friend, but like, I figured we were just friends. And then when he told me about his diagnosis, he was like, "Sam, you're one of my best friends, so I want to tell you." I'm like, "Wait, what?" So
Let me hear that again.
Yeah, it was a little bit, honestly, I was shocked a little bit because I didn't realize that's how he felt, but at the same time, I was nothing but honored. I realized that, like, wow, this guy is one of the real ones. And one time we were on our way, I forget where we were going, but he was driving, and I was mentioning that I might have been moving somewhere. I think might have been going to West Virginia for a job or something. And he just looks at me and goes, "Don't worry about it. I'll see you. I'll make sure to drive by. We'll figure something out." I'm just like, dude, I don't even know if I'm going yet. In general, he always made sure, no matter what, to always look out for me, for his friends, to make sure that I wasn't just stuck in my house all day. He always made sure to just drag me out to do something. And the funny thing is, for all the times we hang out and stuff, you would think we would hang out more. We live down the street from each other, but honestly, sometimes we'd go a couple months without talking to each other, but then we'd just go right back to where we were started. Yeah. But I don't think I've ever known someone so caring, compassionate, generous, extremely generous. Like, this man did not care about money. Like, he would just buy you things for didn't even matter. And honestly, something that kind of guts me is that every time he bought me something or did something for me, I always thought, I'll have time to pay him back. Don't worry, I'll get back to you on this. Well, that time ran out. So a lesson can be learned here. Don't take people for granted. Don't think you'll always have time. You may not. So keep that in mind. But in general, let's not be upset or sad that our good friend is gone. Think of it as like a long journey. Back in the day, people would go on a boat and they wouldn't see each other, but they knew they were still alive. That's the way to think about this year. He went on his own journey. We have our journey. He has his. I'm sure he's in the loving arms of our Lord and Father. He's probably looking down, laughing his ass off. So, before his time, I got to see him at least one more time. And I just gave him a fist bump and told him, don't worry, I'll see you later. And I mean that. I'm glad I left it there because I truly do mean I will see you later. So, till next time, friend.
This concludes our services for Jordan. On behalf of his family, I'd like to thank you all for attending, for your flowers, but most importantly for your prayers. If you're joining us on heading to the cemetery today, please make sure to use your headlights and flashers. And I just ask that if you are backed into the spots over here, that you stay there until we tell you to so that the hearse doesn't get blocked in. It's got to come around. And if you're out on Scott Avenue and one of the side streets and you're also joining us in the procession, you can just pull around and meet us on the side street down there, and I'll help you get in line. All right, thank you so much.